we go again. Thank you so much for joining me here on Do Not Talk, talking about two things you're never supposed to talk about, religion and politics. I'm CharLee Simons, brought to you by MyPillow, mypillow.com/Lee. That's my middle name for a promo code that'll get you up to 80% off all kinds of MyPillow products. There's like over 40 now he's got at his store. It's all online now because he had all the big stores, all the big box stores, pull his products off the shelves, including Walmart. The heck was that about? He's had the media just absolutely try and destroy him. So it's all up to us to lift him up. Mike Lindell is a true patriot and has been doing amazing work in exposing what is going on, especially the 2020 election fraud. Mike Lindell is one of my heroes. And when they invited me to be part of what they're doing, are you serious? Absolutely. MyPillow.com/LEE. That's my middle name. Or just go to MyPillow.com and click on the radio and podcaster specials. And then at checkout, put in my middle name, LEE, for up to 80% off. Worth it. Worth it. MyPillow.com/Lee. Tami's just a hometown girl next door kind of person in Lodi, little old Lodi. Anyone know where that town is other than the crummy Creedence Clearwater Revival song, "Oh Lord, Stuck in Lodi Again"? Yes, the same Lodi. That's what they were talking about. This little town is between Sacramento and Stockton in Northern California, heading into the Central Valley. She's running for the assembly, state assembly. That's a big deal. Her name, Tami, Tami. And I'll let her pronounce her last name because I'm just not quite sure. As a matter of fact, I'm going to bring her on real quick. I'm not bringing you on for the interview yet. Just how do you say your last name again? Your last name?
Yeah, it's NOBRIGA, which is NOBRIGA, NOBRIGA.
Okay, yes. NOBRIGA, got it. All right, go back into the green room. She's going to be my guest today here on Do Not Talk. But first, did you see this with my president? He was talking about all the Fannie Willis crap that's been going on. Hilarious.
I was indicted by Fannie in Georgia. Fannie. How did that work out? And her lover, Nathan Wade. Right. And they hired him for almost $1 million because of his great experience. Of course, he didn't have any experience. He had experience in something else. You know that. A lot of experience. And at that, I'm quite sure he was very good based on the fact that she called him 2,000 times. I didn't know the gentleman. I didn't know him. Oh, you have 2,000 phone calls, 3,500 text messages.
Oh, he had experience. Okay, Tami Noriga, stand by. You're on next on Do Not Talk. Hit it.
Yep, here he comes. Riding his trusted steed through the Sierra foothills as he brings you the news. Oh, yeah! Oh, yeah! He calls himself
CharLee.
What you doing, Charlie?
Sorry, Charlie.
Hi, Charlie. There you are. Look how cute you are. Yeah.
Hey, Charlie. What's with the dark glasses?
And now, here he is, a man of God, living in a world of Disney.
Ow, Charlie!
CharLee Simons.
Charlie bit me.
There it is. And you can have that logo for yourself on this big old mug, big old 15-ounce mug. And I like big mugs. I cannot lie. Them other brothers can't deny. And on the other side of that mug, what we do talk about, religion and politics. All the stuff you're not supposed to talk about. That's what everybody keeps telling me. Get yourself one of these shirts, too, while you're there. Very high quality. Soft. The collar stays up where it's supposed to be. Really good quality shirt with God, family, country on the back. There's where you can find us, rumble.com/do-not-talk. Do-not-talk.com is where you can buy mug, shirt, both, 28 of each. That'd be great. You'd be helping us stay on the air. There's other ways to give while you're there, too, if you want. At the website, you can find our Give, Send, Go address to be able to link up there and contribute to this ministry, which which is what it is. Do dash, not dash, talk.com. Tami Noriga, what's going on, girl?
I'm doing well. I'm here in Lodi, just working hard on making it all the way to the finish line. I did quite well in the primary, and I'm looking forward to November 5th.
Last thing I saw, this is according to electionresults.sos.ca.gov. You're up against somebody named Heath, Flora. Heath,
Yes.
is that right?
Yes.
And is
That's
he
correct.
supposed to? Is he supposed to be a Republican?
He is. He has an R next to his name. However, the R actually stands for Rhino and not Republican. So,
There you
that's
go.
one of the reasons I'm running on the American Independent ticket, because in California, the Republicans aren't really Republicans. Let's face it, they're rhinos. So I'm running on the American Independent ticket in order to take the votes that are really for the conservative, because I'm much more conservative than Heath Flora ever has thought about being. And you can tell that by his voting record.
I also know that that's to be true just by meeting you at the Reawaken America tour down in little old Tulare with Clay Clark. That's where I met you. You know, we started talking. I'm like, oh man, this woman's fantastic. And then I find out you're right up in the NorCal area in little old Lodi, and I'm like, I got to get you on, talk about what you're up against. Now, when you run third party like that, that's a hard win. That's a hard sell, isn't it? Because most people, they don't know you, and the media is ignoring you, and people like you. You're never going to get any attention from your regular media. And so they don't know your values. All they see is, well, they're not a Republican. And even if they're a Democrat, they're like, I'm done with the Democrats. I'm going to vote for the Republican. So that's a hard sell.
Exactly why my effort is to let people know not to be fooled by the R next to his name, because that R does not mean Republican. And in my area, it is very conservative. It's all rural. It's all country folk, just like I am. I have a little ranch on 3 acres, and we're all country people, and we're all God, family, and Second Amendment, and MAGA. Let's face it. That's who we are. There's nothing but American flags and MAGA flags, and we are all for America first, and that's who I am. So I wanted to run on a different ticket because I wanted people to know that, like I said, don't let the R fool you. I'm much more conservative than that R will ever be.
Yeah, no, and I'm sure you are. And I think that's fantastic. I'm just asking you about running as a third party candidate because that's a really hard sell. Normally they don't win because for the very reasons I stated, media ignores you. People don't know that. They're just voting party preference on both sides.
I understand.
They just vote party preference.
I understand that.
Now, how are you getting other than being on my little old podcast, how are you getting the word out? Is anybody helping you get this word out? This is the real, true, dyed-in-the-wool conservative right here. Don't vote for the one who says he is. Vote for the one who actually is.
Exactly. And that's my message. And I do have a team. Of course, I think it took people like you and several other people to understand who I am and to believe in me. You know, and this was actually a calling for me from God Almighty. I would have never, ever thought about this, but I've been praying and praying about what to do to save children from trafficking. And he came to me and he said, this is what you need to do. So I'm being true to myself, because I watched the Republicans and the Democrats fight like children back in 2010, 11, and 12. And that's when, of course, the whole country was falling to pieces. So I changed to the independent party at that point. Now, I wanted to be true to myself when I ran, because that's who I am. I am more in the middle, but when I say in the middle, I'm more to the right than any Republican I know. So there you have it. I have to be true to myself and true to my Savior. And that's who I am. And that's how I'm going to run.
Okay, absolutely. Now, so this is your very first time running for anything?
Very first time. Other than cheerleader.
Yeah, that puts you. You're now one of my heroes. That puts you on my heroes list because I keep saying nothing's going to change until good people start running for office. Otherwise, we're just going to get more of the same, and it'll only get worse because they self-promote. The left does, the evil does. It self-promotes, and once you get one in there and they become an incumbent, they're like a tick. So we got to get them out. Who's come November? Who's the main person that currently holds this assembly seat in District 9?
Well, there's only one opponent, and it's Heath Flora.
So is he's the
So,
is this a redistricting thing, or is this a
you know,
he's
I'm
already
not
holding,
really sure
he's
if
already
he
holding
moved
up
or what. He's been in District 9 for 2 elections, I believe, and he was District 13 prior, so that could have to do with the redistricting. Again, this is my first time jumping into the boat, so I'm really not sure what the logistics are there, but I do know that he's run pretty much unopposed, knowing, like I do, he read the room. In other words, he read the market, and he knew the market is going to be very conservative, and he put an R by his name, even though he's not a Republican. And that's how he's holding his seat. Well, I'm here to take him out of that seat.
I'm so sick of those people.
I'm here to let people know that I'm the real person that needs to be in that seat because I'm more conservative than he ever dreamt of being. And I mean, let's face it, he's not even dreaming of being conservative. He's just not. You can tell by
he knows how to say the right things.
He
knows how to say the right things. So since he has an R in front of his name, I'd imagine your Central Committee, and you're in San Joaquin County, right? I'd imagine your Central Committee endorsed him, didn't they?
Yeah, I've got the American Independent Party, of course, endorsing me, and I've got more people coming on board every single day. So it's going quite well. I have to say, I'm very blessed every single day.
How about the San Joaquin Republican Assembly? Did they endorse you?
Not as of yet. I do have conservatives and things like that I'm working on, but not as of yet.
Have you been to speak to
we're just getting through the.
Have you been to speak to their group?
Yes.
Oh, you have? Yes. Oh, good. With Jim Shoemaker, right? Jim Shoemaker, right?
Yeah. Jim and I are, I'm out with Jim all the time. I think he's a wonderful man. And every chance I get, we're out together. He's a good man. He's a good God-fearing man. And he did quite well in the primary, and I'm very, very proud of him. So I'm with him as much as I can be.
Good. I think that's a great person to have in your corner. And you're right. Yes. And everything I've learned about him, he's the real deal, Holyfield. He is who he says he is. And yes. I'm glad that you jumped in. What is the one thing that you discovered, having never run for anything before, that you're like, wow, I had no idea it was like that?
Yeah. But, I'm learning and I'm going, it's not I know how to sell myself. I was in sales for many years. I was in the radio business and then went into my own advertising agency business. So, I know people and I love getting out and meeting people every single day. And everyone I talk to, they're in my corner. They're all, okay, I'm voting for you. I would have voted for the R, but you know what? You make sense. So I'm going to vote for you. So all I have to do is stay out there and get in front of people, and they know that I'm the real deal.
I'm glad to hear that. But my question was, what's the one thing, having never run for office before, that you've discovered now that you're in the middle of it, that you're like, I had no idea it was going to be like that?
Well, no, I didn't. I'll be honest with you. I say my prayers every night.
Which part is it? Which part is it that makes you think, dang, I didn't know it was going to be this way running for office?
Well, it's everyone that you talk to from, and I'm not going to say any group or any particular affiliation, but a lot of people I talk to, the suggestions have been, well, just say this and just say that. And even though you don't believe it, maybe you should just say this, and then you could just get into all this. And I just keep telling him, no, I'm going to be true to myself, and I'm going to be true to my Lord and Savior. And that's all there is to it. And I know he's with me, and I know that the truth will prevail.
That makes me happy. I'm glad to hear you say that. Just the other day, I was talking with someone else who ran for the Senate, wasn't successful, passed the primaries, but ran for Senate. And he goes, and it was basically the same thing. I asked him, what's the one thing getting into it, having never run for office before, that you thought, I had no idea it was going to be this bad, or I had no idea it was going to be like this? And he said something very similar, only he had somebody, he didn't want to say the name, but I'll say it, Kevin McCarthy, his people, this is when he was still Speaker of the House, his people came to him and said, yeah, we don't want you talking about these different things anymore. And if you stop talking about those things, we'll support you. Really?
Exactly.
And that, so he encountered the same thing. And I'm hearing that from more and more people, where people in the Republican Party are saying, don't talk about these. Here's a list of talking points not to mention, not to bring up. We'll support you if you don't talk about abortion, if you don't talk about the border, if you don't talk about whatever, fill in the blank, LGBTQ crap. They don't want you talking about that. Yeah.
I've
the
even had
Republican
people
Party
say,
doing that.
you know, when you bring up the border, just don't bother. Just say, yeah, we have a problem, but don't say you want to close it. And I'm like, what? Are you crazy? I mean, it's nuts. It's like, they want you to play a game like everyone else in Washington plays, and that's not what we're here for. We're here to make changes. We're here to make good laws. We're here to make California better, and that's not gonna fly with good, honest, God-fearing people moving in and trying to make a difference.
I have been banging this drum now ever since I became a delegate for a candidate. He's running against that slug, John Garamendi. His name is Rudy Rosselli. And he asked me to be a delegate, one of his delegates. And I said, absolutely, glad to. Because of that, I've been to 2 of the conventions so far last year. I hated it, because I do enjoy sausage, especially with eggs for breakfast, but I don't like seeing how it's made now. And it was very, very sickening, all the deal making and the little backroom crap going on. And if you know this person, you can get this done and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, all the rumors I hear about how incestuous politics can be and conniving almost is true. So I've been telling everybody, don't even give a dime to the California Republican Party until they get their frickin' act together and get rid of that goofball. What's her face? Jessica Patterson. What a horrible chair she is. What a joke. And she got reelected.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
That's another thing that we need to clean up is our elections. You know, our
Heck
elections.
yeah. In the party, in our own party.
Yeah. And they're not cleaning up the voter rolls. I mean, there's been so many problems, and they're not doing anything about it. It's just it's the same old thing, which, as we know, is insanity, because they're not cleaning them up. They're still getting, in every single county, they're still getting more votes than voters. It's like, you know, come on, we're not stupid.
At the fall convention down in Anaheim, I was looking for somebody to be talking about the election fraud, and they maybe a workshop or something. How can we do this? How can we fix this? Some kind of think tank that I could attend. There was nothing like that. And I'm asking a question to anybody who will listen. What makes you think anything's going to change? Why do you think that we're going to win this time? Because we said so? How do you figure? All those little election cheating things and tactics that the left has cooked up that are so successful that other states that are as bad as California are using our tactics to cheat at elections. Our own elected representatives currently holding office never talk about it, never bring it up. What makes you
Oh,
think
some
anything's
do.
going to change?
Some do, and they even say, well, we're working on it, which means we're not going to do a damn thing. And it's going to take people like me and others that are, trying to get in there to make a good change to do something,
Yeah.
and, thank God for Mike Lindell, who is going everywhere and doing his hard work. I had such a pleasure meeting him in Tulare, where I met you. Just a good man. So thank
I
God for Mike Lindell and
fully
others like
agree.
him.
And he put his
Yeah.
fortune on the line. He's been spending his own personal money to pay for all these legal fees and everything else. It is successful now. It's going to be heard by the Supreme Court finally, because they've rejected time and time again. Anytime, for example, who's that guy in Utah? I've interviewed him a couple of times. I'm not thinking of his name right now, but man, what a stud. He and his brothers keep going after the Supreme Court. You need to listen to this evidence. And we're going to force you to do it if we have to.
Exactly.
Our country is going down. There's no returning from this. The Supreme Court has to get involved, because there's so much nefarious, dirty, filthy stuff going on the inside that at this point now, they're not even really hiding it anymore like they used to. They're not even really hiding it. They're bragging about
they're
it.
not. They're basically bragging about it. We're going to do this and you're just going to take it. Well, guess not. No, we're not. Okay. That's why there's mothers stepping up. I'm a grandmother. Okay. I'm stepping up. And I'm putting 110% in, and everyone around me is, and they all believe in me. So I know God's with me, and thank God that Mike Lindell is doing what he's doing, because we need all we can get before the November election. And this election is the biggest and the most important in my lifetime, and I'm sure in yours, and anybody that's alive today.
Amen. And you're right. Mike Lindell is the only one who has been successful in getting it to the Supreme Court now. What happens from there, I don't know, but this is just amazing what Lindell has been able to accomplish, and may God bless him. And that's why I'm saying, please buy your products from him, and use my middle name as a promo. Use my middle name as a promo.
By the way, my middle name is Lee.
Lee? There you go. Perfect. So go to mypillow.com/LEE, mypillow.com/Lee, and let's support Mike Lindell. Over 40 products now at his store, and made most of them right there at his factory in Minnesota.
Yeah.
Hiring Americans and definitely providing great jobs for local people in the community. This man needs our support. And if the best thing we can do is just buy some products of his, then that's what I'm going to do. So please, I hope you do. But Tami, did you grow up in Lodi area and so on? Let's talk about your little town stuff. Where'd you grow up?
Well, I actually grew up in a town called Castro Valley, California. I'm born and raised in California. I was born in
Artichoke capital of the world, by the way, right? Artichoke capital of the world.
Yeah. Well, kind of a little bit, yeah, over there by Santa Cruz area. But yeah, I was raised in Castro Valley. I moved up to Pine Grove, California. If you've ever heard of that, it's above Jackson. Mm-hmm. And from there, I moved down to Lodi in the 80s when I got into radio. I was recruited down to work for all the stations in the valley. So for the Cat Countries and the K-Joys and all that. So I worked in radio for a little over 20 years. And then I went into full service advertising.
And you were working for Citadel, and their studios at the time were down in Modesto. What years when did you start working for Citadel?
I started in 1984, and at the time I went through 5 owners. So there was a owner even before Roger Turnbow, who was a single radio owner, and he had a couple of partners. But then it went on to Silverado, Frontline, and there was the one you just mentioned before. Now it's Cumulus.
Citadel,
yeah.
You said a name I haven't heard in years, Roger Turnbow. Great dude.
Yeah.
You and I probably worked together. I started my career there, and I worked on Rock 104 when Cat Country first went on the air with Aaron Goodwin and Randy Bubba Black. And
Oh yeah,
all that
yeah.
group,
I know them. I know them well.
I was over doing the morning show with Brian Suits. It was Charlie and Brian's show on Rock 104. That was before I got that job for ABC Radio in San Francisco from there. And I went to doing mornings at KSFO in the city. But so you and I, we worked together. I'm sure we ran into each other in the hallways. I don't, but
Absolutely.
We were in a separate building. Our studios were in a separate building from where you all were. We were over there in that old
at that time, Cat Country and 104, they were separate.
Right.
It was Citadel that brought them together.
Right. Yeah.
And then before that was Silverado. Yeah.
So nice seeing you again. That's so funny that we worked together in radio and didn't even know it. But wow, that's very cool. So I wish you all the best in your race. How do we follow along with what's going on with you? How do we get involved? How do we help financially? Like I said, don't give any money to the state party anymore. Give it to your individual candidates. You find somebody you like, you believe in them, go to her website. You're like, yep, she's who she says she is. I'm going to be sending her $20, $50, $100, whatever you can do. They can work wonders with it. Don't go through the California GOP anymore, at least for now.
Yeah.
So where do we find you? How do we help?
No. Well, I'm on Facebook, Tami Noriga, which is TAMI NOBRIGA. On Facebook, I'm also at Tami 4 Assembly, which is TAMI 4 assembly.com. That's my website. I'm pretty much in all like Truth and Getter and X. So I'm, it's
I'd recommend you go to her website. I'd recommend you go to her website because that way you can give. You can give to her right then and there if you want.
Absolutely.
And it's safe. So that's Tami, TAMI, and the 4, and then assembly.com. Right?
Exactly. Tami 4 assembly.com.
It was an absolute joy.
Thank you for having me. It's really been
hey, thank you for being had. Yeah. That's my favorite joke. I appreciate you very much. Thank you. And I'm looking forward to following what's going on in the progress with you. All right.
Thank you so much. God bless.
You too. He does. He has. He will. Same to you. Stand by. Don't go away. I am CharLee Simons. This is Do Not Talk, and you want to help us stay on the air. You know how to do it. do-not-talk.com. do-not-talk.com. You can give and help support this ministry through there. There's several links where you can buy yourself a mug and a shirt. You'll be helping us stay on the air. May God bless you and keep you. May God bless America. But most importantly, may America bless